Let's see. What's up, Adrian? How you doing, my man? Just finished my notes. To be fair, though, they're your notes. You just get to use them on the quiz. See, that's how I get y'all. Get y'all to take the notes because you know that it will help you on the quiz. But it helps me and it helps you on the test. So it's a twofer. How you doing tonight? This one's for you. At least this one. I don't know. It seemed like there were other people who are interested in Penn State. So we'll see. Do you have any thoughts on like additional criteria that we could use? I don't know if this is like good information or useful information for you. Even with notes, you get a 59 on the multiple choice. But I mean, 59%, like that's a 4, right? Percent right on multiple choice passing score on AP World History test. Let's see what this comes up with. Okay, well that's not helpful. And I mean, Albert has this thing. I think you got everything on there. Okay, cool. We come up with some other things, we'll add it in there. Okay, let's see what they got here. How do you score a 5? You be smart and know how to write. I don't know. Modern. I don't know if it's gonna like tell you like an exact thing on there. There's a bunch of these things on here. So okay, so if you got, what did you score on the DBQ? I don't remember. It's 55. So if we went with your correct, you'd get about 32 of them correct. I don't think you got any of those. But I mean, I feel like you'd at least get like 1 out of 3 of the points on all of them. 4 out of 7. Okay. Okay, no. Oh, wait, short answer. Wait, short answer 4. There's only 3 short answers. This is messed up. that is not applicable because there's only AP World History. I wonder if this is from like a different one. Or long essay. Let's go the same. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's. Imagine not updating since 2016. I guess that's why there's 4. Now there's 3. Albert has something. Can you stop, dog? Albert AP World History Calculator. I don't think you have to sign in for anything like this. Let's see. Score. Oh, okay, that's not a link. Okay, all right, here we go. So you would get like a 32 if you got 59 of them correct. Let's give that a 1, just as like a bare minimum. 1, and then a 4 out of 7, and then sure, let's give you that one. Projected. So even with like a 32 out of 55, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 3, a 4 out of 7, and then a 3 out of 6. That's a predicted score of 3, you know? I mean, so it's pretty good. But that's one thing that we can take a look at is like scores needed to like get credit. I guess we could like say that better. Accepted AP scores. That'll be a good one actually to add as we go forward. But I mean, that gives you an idea. I mean, even if you like start bumping up, say you did 2, all right, predicted score. I don't know, man. I feel like if you get a 4 out of 7 and you get a 3 out of 6, and then you do that well, like that's probably like an easy 4, you know? Because I mean, I don't know. That's a good DBQ score if the average is like a 2.5, you know? I mean, I think you'll pass either way. So, I mean, I don't think you'll have anything to worry about if I'm being honest. But all right, let's do it. Let's start off with Penn State University. Let's see what we got here. All right, Penn State University. Nah, you will, man. You absolutely will. I've seen what your writing is, and I know what it's like in comparison to last year's students. And there were a lot of people last year who I didn't think were going to pass, who ended up passing. And I think that you are a stronger writer and a better multiple choice test taker than what they were. So I fully expect like at least a 4 from you, if I'm being honest. At least that's like my goal for you is to shoot for a 4. All right, let's see what we're looking at. Okay, let's just try and find some like general information. Let's go to admissions and then undergraduate here. Okay, I thought I closed them. Okay, so tuition function, we'll get there. Campuses, let's look at requirements. That's probably a good place to start. Okay, so interesting thing for people who are applying now. Is that for the fall of this year, they're not even asking that you do SAT or ACT because of the pandemic. And I think that's really interesting because, I don't know, like it's only just like one factor, I guess you could say, of how well you'll actually do. And it's really not even like the biggest factor. You're gonna get a 5, no cap. Man, I hope so. I think that there's several people who will get 5s, and I can't wait. It'll be awesome. All right, so let's see first year requirements. So 4-year degrees. Okay, so, oh my goodness. So these are just the units of study that you have to have in order to apply. So y'all will have 3 credits of, or y'all have 4 credits of English. You'll have way more than 3 credits of social studies. I actually think I'm hoping that maybe they'll have an AP Econ next year. I don't know anything. I don't know if that'll happen, but we'll see. But this stuff seems pretty like standard, I guess you could say. Um, let's see. Info for, let's look at future students. Let's see what that has to say. Okay, so based on you may need some specific information about requirements, steps to apply. So this would be like first year students, I would think. High school, you don't need that. Admissions requirements for special programs, maybe. Eligibility and class for dates, deadlines, explore the campus, visit a campus, next steps, resources. Let's see. I don't think we really need to go into academic requirements from high school. Application review process, maybe? Wow. 70,000 first year student applications. That's a lot. That is a lot. Okay, so it looks like they had an admit, deferral of decision. So this is like if you apply early, you'll get deferred. So basically, they'll tell you to apply again, and then you'll go through the whole thing again. And then, or denial of admission. My guess is that if they deny you like fully in an early action, your chances of getting in is probably super slim. Penn State is hard to get into. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, just based on the total number of things of profiles. Here we go. Class of 2024 profile. So the middle 50% of the GPA and test scores. This will be interesting. Okay, so middle of the GPA is 3.55 to 3.9, which is not like, I mean, yeah, that's middle 50%, but I mean, that's not crazy, right? I mean, obviously, like 3.9 is on up there, right? But I mean, that's doable for a lot of people. Second option is Wisconsin. Yeah, I like Wisconsin. I considered going there and doing my PhD. They have a really good education program for a doctoral. And even with this, like the writing and reading, and then the math. I mean, 1240 to 1410. I mean, that's, the top end is, pretty high. But I mean, this is a 620 on the SAT, which is, I mean, it's good, right? But it's not, I wouldn't say it's crazy. Composite ACT 27 to 33. I'll give you an idea. My composite that I used for UGA was only a 28. So I feel like a lot of y'all are a lot smarter than what I am. And if I can get a 28, then I definitely think that y'all are definitely within this range of being able to do it for sure. Here we go. Admissions statistics. Let's see what they got. Okay, statistics. Well, that's the same thing. Okay. Wow. First year applicants. Oh, okay. That's university wide. That's not just like to the main one. Can you imagine? Almost 100,000 applications. Total first year students, applications. Okay, so 15,000. That's not like super crazy. Total first year students. So, I mean, that's about half. I mean, if we do the math, 15,443 divided by 8305. Whoa, other way around. Sorry. I'm not a math person, everybody. So just bear with me. 8305 divided by 15,443. I mean, that's a 53% acceptance rate. I mean, that's not like, it's selective. Don't get me wrong. It's very, very selective, right? But it's not as selective as maybe what I thought it would have been. And that was from last year's data. So let's see. Student body statistics. Wow, this is a huge, huge, 76,000. I thought UGA was big. Interesting. 54% are male versus 40%, 46% female. Normally in college, there are way more females than there are males. So that's kind of an interesting like flip there that I don't think that you would normally see. Residency. See, so out-of-state students, university-wide. So, I mean, they accepted a lot of people out of state, which tells me that they have some pretty good programs of like assistance, like financial aid that would be available to people. And then you can break it down by race. Obviously, like highest is going to be white, but it looks like there's, fairly diverse. It's actually kind of interesting that they provide this kind of information. And the other two places that we looked at, those being, what was it? Piedmont and what else did we look? Piedmont and SCAD. It didn't provide any sort of information like that on there. So that's pretty interesting. So acceptance rate, 53%, not terrible. Let's see what it was for the other ones. So this one says 54. I'm sorry, I find it so difficult to think that Piedmont's acceptance rate is 1 point higher than a university like Penn State. I don't think this is right. I don't think that's right at all. So I don't know. I would think that, from stuff with like Piedmont, that's going to be like 70 or higher, I would think. And that SCAD's was pretty high, but I don't think that they can be like super picky about who goes there just because of how expensive it is. Okay, so size. There's a lot of people. The main campus, which I think is the one that we would be most interested in, has, so it's transfers. Okay, student body. So I think University Park is the biggest one, is their main one. So right at like 41,000. At, what was it, Forest Park? University Park. University Park. This is a big school. Large. This is really big, especially when you compare it to SCAD and Piedmont. Piedmont's like 1,200 or so. What do we see on this one? Yeah, like 2,500. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, the main college building is in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, makes sense. And then SCAD was actually a lot bigger than what I thought it was. SCAD was like 15, 20,000 people. Yeah, like 11,000, at least in their undergraduate program. So I mean, that's pretty substantial, and that's just undergraduates. That's a crazy number. I think just for UGA, it's probably more so like 30, maybe like 30,000 or so. So yeah, that's pretty big. Let's see. Next kind of useful information would be like tuition. All right, you ready for this one? Don't hold your breath, Adrian, because this might like take your breath away. Tuition and fees, $35,984 a year. Let's just call it 36,000 a year. That's substantial. That's pretty crazy. Additional estimated costs being 14,000 to 17,000. Looking at a total of about 50,000 to 53,000. I would assume this would be things like if you were living on a campus, this would be like a room and board, meal plans, stuff like that. Living expenses, so 13K to 17K. Additional living expenses for things like rent, food, etc. So, I mean, yeah, you're looking at 50,000 easily for a year. Um, Commonwealth campuses. So, I mean, it does look like they're a little bit less whenever it comes to the not main campuses, which seems about normal. Um, so additional costs, they're factoring in about 12,000 for room and meals, which, if you're living on campus, I think you're probably going to expect to pay anywhere from like 600 to well over $1,000 a month, depending on what kind of a building you're living in. And then your meals. So this is travel, personal expenses, books, supplies. Um, yeah, I mean, this may be kind of high. I mean, personally, I mean, some semesters you'll have it'll be expensive, but I never paid that much money for books. I mean, I think the most that I probably ever paid in a semester for books was maybe like $500 or $600. The ones that kill you are the language classes, because you not only have to get the book, but you have to get like an online access code too. And that's where it's so expensive, because like the access code is just as much as if you bought it new. So it's just like, you can't just buy an access code that's cheaper and then get, a used book or anything like that. Like that's the part that I thought was kind of like the scummiest whenever I was in college taking those classes. I don't know, it just felt like a gotcha moment. But that's where they're figuring those kind of expenses. Um, YouTube will help you out. Yeah, I mean, I know you make money, but I don't think you make 50,000 a year sort of money. But I don't know, you might. You've been getting a lot of views on your YouTube. It seems to be going really well for you. So I'm glad that's working out. Interesting. Go to college cost calculator. Let's see what this pulls up. Okay, so you're non-Pennsylvania resident. We're going to the main campus. Wow, they have a lot of campuses. What was it? College Park? Okay, why can I not find it? Oh, University Park. Duh. It was a joke. Definitely won't have me. Yeah, it will. Of course it will. I've seen some of your screenshots on there. Expected family contribution. So you're more likely a dependent. I don't even know what you could put in this. Like, that's definitely like super, like you would have to know that one. So yeah, I mean, that gives you a pretty good idea. Does look like there are loans. There's a potential Parent Plus loan that parents can use. It's basically in their name, essentially. And you may even have like something called like a 529 Adrian. I know that's a lot, like it's popular nowadays. And it may have been something that your parents have looked at for both you and Zoe. I know for us, like we have one already set up for Amelia. So that at least gives her like something. Pennsylvania. This is what? University Park. University Park, Pennsylvania. University Park, Pennsylvania. Okay. Distance. Okay, so let's do Johnson High School. Okay. So we're looking at 718 miles. So location 700 plus miles from Gainesville, which is about, probably a 12-hour drive. So if you're definitely looking to like get away from home or anything like that, like this is the place to do it for sure. Yeah, she is right. And you gotta like move all your stuff up there too. Um, and then move it back over the summer your freshman year, unless you stay up there. That's certainly something to think about too. I mean, moving expenses alone, you know, may factor into this. So let's see what else we got here. So let's try and go into, let's see what their accepted AP scores are. Let's click out of that tab. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I think I want to go back. Okay, so academics, academic credit. Okay, so earning Penn State credit, so college credit, so AP credit. So this is where I talk about like what things will actually count, because some universities accept certain credit, certain passing scores, and then others go at it a different way. So for example, AP World History, um, yeah, for a grade of 3, no credit is awarded. AP World must have a 4 or higher to be given college credit. So yeah, so I think just universities that are similar to this kind of like a rigor of stuff is 700 miles isn't enough. Wisconsin it is. I don't know. I couldn't do it. Looking back on it now, like I couldn't do anything like that. I couldn't make it on my own. Let's do microeconomics. See if there's anything. Yeah, 3, no credit. Let's see what else. I think next year, I think I'll go to it's a lang. I'm gonna try 3 or wow. Grade 3, 4, or 5 is given no credit. Imagine taking an AP course, passing the AP course, and not being given any sort of credit. With a 4 or 5, a student is invited by the English department to schedule English 030 honors freshman comp. Wow. That's kind of crazy to me. Hey Natalie, how are you? Let's see. Human geography. So y'all take that next year. So this one, wow, that is so crazy. A grade of 3, 4, or 5 is awarded credit, which seems like crazy to me because like normally it's not like that. AP Human. A lot of colleges don't accept AP Human Geography, like no matter what your score is. As a 3 through 5. That's crazy. I would not have expected that at all. Other than that, I think that's all of the AP tests that at least we offer now. I mean, they may have Spanish, AP Spanish. Let's see if they have that. Math, physics, psych, Spanish. Let's see. So for a grade of 3, credit is awarded for Spanish 1, 2, and 3. So 12 credits. A grade of 4 or 5, credit is awarded for those same plus 100. Wow, so up to 15 credit hours. Spanish at a 3 or higher can earn up to 15 credit hours. And again, I mean, if you're talking about 15 credit hours, I mean, that probably knocks out your entire like foreign language requirement. Even 12 may knock out your foreign language requirement. And again, if we're talking, $2,000-3,000 per credit hour, I mean, that's like if you're not taking AP Spanish and they have similar things at in-state universities, y'all need to be taking AP Spanish because that is a ton of college credit just from one class. And especially for like you native speakers. Oh my gosh, this is just like, I feel like it's a freebie, you know? I mean, it may not actually be a freebie, but I feel like it is, especially for someone who's like a non-native speaker. So they do accept a good bit from there. Let's see what they have on financial aid. So let's look at student aid. It shows that 73% of them, yeah, you'll do, yeah, I mean, you need to. I mean, if nothing else, it makes you just that much more competitive, I think. So, wow, so they give away a lot of tuition. So let's see, 73% receive tuition assistance. So let's see what stuff they have. Main source for questions related to paying for your education. Did you hear Cooper got quarantined? Yeah, like that whole basketball team got quarantined. I actually had this student who was tested positive. He's in my 5th period. So I figured Cooper was getting quarantined again. So looks like loans are the primary way in which they give, you know, aid. They've got 25 for grants, 10% for university scholarships, private scholarships, work studies. Looks like you can apply for aid. So FAFSA is accepted. FAFSA. So that's going to be based on like how much your parents make each year. So typically, if your parents generally make a decent amount of money, you're not really going to be eligible for something like FAFSA. Wow. Other than that, like there's not a whole lot in terms of aid, but let's see if this other tab has some stuff. So general scholarship information. So there's a free application for, okay, FAFSA. Okay, we already knew that though. The Office of Student Aid outlines scholarship. Let's click on this and see what we have here. So student aid and scholarships. So it looks like university scholarships. Sending approximately 1 in 4 of your graduates receive a university scholarship. They can range from $1,500 to $7,000 per year. However, the average does not exceed $2,500. The average value. Okay. Let's see. Does look like they have installment payment plans. Okay, so average aid is between 1,500 and what was it, 7,000 or so. So I mean that's not, it's not terrible, but when you're looking at out of state, that's going to be kind of the bigger issues, I would think. Let's see. Tuition kind of types of aid. I mean, that's the one that we were just on. Grants, scholarships, employment. I mean, I feel like you would do like super well, Adrian. Like if you like working in some sort of like federal work study, like dealing with like weather or something like that. I feel like that's like right in your wheelhouse, So you got like work study, like a mentoring program to enhance like reading, math, science skills, community service. So there's work study programs. I don't think it says how much that like offsets the costs. But it looks like there's something there. So it does look like eligibility requirements, undergrad, FAFSA, financial need, which I feel like a lot of people looking at like out of state schools would definitely be in like financial need. Let's see. Yeah, I feel like not a whole lot. Like we're not really gonna get a whole lot of information about like specific like packages. I feel like that's something that you could like be like request information from and see. So like if you did like maybe like a visit, gosh, look at all their campuses. That's crazy. So many. Wow. This is a huge school for sure. But you may be able to like request information and whatnot, and it may include things like specific like aid packages aimed at out of state students. And then the biggest one is obviously academics and majors. So this is where I'm gonna like transition to more so of like a heavy emphasis on you, Adrian, since you're like super interested in this one. And if anybody else is interested, definitely like let me know if you're interested in any particular majors. But let's see. So 275 majors. That's a lot of majors. Total majors. Okay, and what would it officially be called? Area of interest. Let's go that one. So art. So something with like weather. Is that what it would be? Social sciences, physical science, mm, animal science, biology. Let's do like, or would it be like meteorology, and atmospheric sciences, something like that? So it's a discipline devoted to an increased understanding of the atmosphere, develop methods applying knowledge to that practical problems. It's usually associated with weather prediction. It seems like, what you're interested in. It offers several options within the major that requires a solid foundation of mathematics and physical sciences, comprehensive survey of fundamentals, College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. From high school, I don't think you would need that. Let's take a look at College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. Okay, so what do we got here? So let's go with majors. Hmm. Find a program of studies would be like bachelor's. So Earth sciences. Oh, that's policy too. It's probably more so like law. Energy and sustainability policy, energy business and finance, energy engineering, environmental systems, geosciences, geography, atmospheric sciences. Here we go. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, so options within the majors. So atmospheric sciences option, environmental meteorology, general option. So these are like kind of like the core focuses within the major itself. With jobs being with the Weather Channel, AccuWeather, NASA. That would be so cool. I think I had a teacher in high school. She worked for NASA. She could not teach to save her life, but you know what? She knew what she was doing whenever it came to her math, and I'll at least give her that. You go into the business side of it. You could also join the military if you wanted to. I don't know why you'd really want to do that, but you know what? More power to you. Interesting. It looks like they've got a lot of like clubs and organizations that are associated to it. Um, Associations related to different majors. That's like really good information too. I feel like I didn't have like at UGA. This wasn't like a thing, I guess. Option to earn your BS and your master's in 5 years. That'd be the way to go, if I'm being completely honest. Option to earn BS and MA in 5 years. That's just like a good option because a lot of times, yeah, you're in there for one more year, but usually the pay bump of it is fairly significant. right? So gives you a lot of information here about like what your first 3 years will be like, which realistically your first 2 years are going to be, you know, core classes with an emphasis in like sciences in particular. Admission requirements. So you have to apply at the end of your junior year. Then you have to graduate prior to senior year, progress satisfactory, which basically would mean, you have to make B's or higher, I would think. So recommendations, you know, that's where you have to, network as much as you can. You have to have a letter of support from the meteorology department head. And then name of an advisor who's willing to oversee your research project, and a resume showing evidence of significant research potential. Also, Penn State transcript, GRE scores as well. So you're really going to want to emphasize like the math portions of it as well. Statement of purpose letter, degree requirements. So you'd have to have 121 credits, which is basically the standard to graduate with an undergrad. And you have to divide it up with 40 credits or 45 credits for your general education, 93, 94 for your major ones. And then your master's portion looks like, very specific, detailed information about what you would do. Again, my thought is like, if they have one that does a dual BS, MS, all in one sort of thing, it's going to be faster than if you just did a 4-year and then a master's, because normally a master's is 2 years. Whereas it's almost like accelerating it. So you're effectively saving yourself a year, I would think. So I think that's a good one. I wonder if there's any information about like ranks or anything like that. Does look like you can add it as a minor if you really wanted to, but I don't think you're really interested in minoring in it. It'd definitely be your major. It's nice that they have like testimonials that you can take a look at. Let's see, our excellence. That's probably going to be a good one about what their rank may be. Here we go. See, this is when you're in like a quality like places. Like they just got it easily shown. All right, so this one is going to be, okay, that's graduate programs. We don't want that one yet. Undergraduate, so online education, so meteorology. Okay, so 10th overall within that. So we'll put that in like major rank. 10th in meteorology. I think if you're going to a college that is within the top 20, then that is a quality school, especially if you're interested in perhaps going further and perhaps becoming a professor later on. Typically, you want to stay in the top 20 of schools, at least in that particular field, so that your quality, and even then, like your chances of teaching at top tier universities are super super slim. People who even graduate, say, from like UGA, from their education department, it's not like they're going and teaching off at like Harvard or anything like that. They're getting jobs at Georgia Southern. I knew a professor who's a great professor, and our history department was really good. I don't know what our actual rank was at that time, but it was pretty high. It was a really good program, and he ended up getting a tenure position at I think it was like Georgia College and State University. So even then, it depends on I think who you are, who you know, and what's available. But I think 10th overall, that's quality. That's quality. You're getting quality education, and that's the thing where it's like, if you're choosing between an in-state school versus an out-of-state school, and based on your particular major, if they're pretty comparable in terms of their rankings, say they're both, like within the top 20 or within the top 30 or something like that. Realistically, I would err on the side of saying, stay in state because the equivalent education that you're getting, it's probably fairly similar whether you go in state or out of state. But if you're talking about something that's like top 10 and something that's this kind of like specific, then I don't think, anything in the state of Georgia is going to offer anything like close to that. Let's see if we can take a look real quick. Okay, that's Shing. I don't know who that is. I don't think that's super reliable. Let's take a look at this. So again, I don't know if this is like incredibly reliable or not. Normally you want to go to like US News, I think is usually a pretty standard one. This is like a go-to one. So let's see. Atmospheric. Okay, so 69 or 67. I don't care about that. All areas of study, test scores. We don't really care about that either. We just want like top 20. There we go. Rankings high to low. Let's do that one. So just to see like which one would be. So Cornell looks to be fairly high. Is this specifically for atmospheric meteorology though? It's kind of hard to tell. UCLA, UC Berkeley, University of Michigan, 24, Southern California. This would be on like the very edge of, see, that's just like national universities. But I mean, it does show that. Let's see, 42. UGA is up there, but I mean, at 47, I mean, it's good, but I don't know. I would think that the difference between 47 and 10 is pretty substantial. I mean, yeah, you would factor in like the in-state part of it, but I don't know. That one's kind of hard. Let's see. We don't want all rankings. We just want. Okay, well, that's not helpful. Location. Let's just do it strictly to Georgia and see if that changes anything. I mean, it probably won't, right? Okay. So my guess is, something like UGA, it will be up there, but it won't be as strong, I would think. So I would say in this case, like definitely well worth a top 10 major. And that brings us to a completed card. Any other like specific questions that y'all have about this one? See, it even shows their acceptance rate as higher. Well, I guess that includes like everybody, not necessarily like freshmen. So that's why it would be more difficult. Average cost after 8 about 31. That's for, that's in-state cost, so that would be different. This is actually an interesting one too about like completion within 6 years and 8 years. Ultimately, you want to see a high percentage of students completing their degrees within 6 years, ideally much sooner than that. if I'm being honest. Within 8 years is like kind of crazy, if I'm being honest. Like, it's not a very impressive statistic. Um, so, yeah. So it does look like they rank pretty well in other things that are happening. So, I mean, obviously, this is a very talented type of school, very specific in nature and what it offers, within the field of meteorology. Um, let's see if it's updated. Yeah, see, I feel like this isn't like necessarily correct because of that. Like, that's not. I don't think it's looking at specifically meteorology or sciences and meteorology or anything like that. I would say this is like national stuff, not necessarily related to major. But I mean, the major is selected. I mean, I don't know. Let's see if there's any like additional information here. Um, 4. Wow, that's a big endowment. Okay, yeah. So this is like just general ranking. So 63rd in the nation, which is really good. Let's see if this will help us. A lot of times you'll get into like paywalls with this stuff. Um, biological, civil, let's see, business, study abroad. Student excellence, 7%. Yeah. Sometimes some of this stuff is hard to find, but I would trust the stuff. See, that was in 2018, so those things may have changed since then, and in fact, they probably have. But it's still a good sign. Oftentimes, schools within top 20 rarely fall out. So I would say that they're probably similar. All right, so that brings us to one down. Let's make a copy here. Where do y'all want to go on our next one? We got one more that we can do, that we can go to. I want to stick to like a Georgia one, but I don't know where we could go. Y'all could go somewhere in Georgia. Where could we go? Okay, so we've done Piedmont. We people did Emory, but I want to like. I know there's several people who are really interested in Emory, and I want them to like be able to actually like see that. We did SCAD, then Penn State, Wisconsin, Georgia Southern, MIT, Duke. Why don't we go do like Georgia Southern? Georgia Southern University. It's not a template. Georgia Southern University, not to be confused with Georgia State University. So let's see what stuff we got here. So let's look up some like general information. Georgia Southern University. Let's look here. Okay, so wow, I can't believe that. Like 54% acceptance rate. Like I can't buy that. I just don't buy that. I don't buy that they would be more selective than say Penn State, you know? Just doesn't make any sense. Let's go undergraduate admissions here. Let's see what stuff we got. Let's see what my mom said, because she also texted me. Let's see. Native internet. Are you going to be in need of internet Wednesday night? Yes. Alrighty, let's see what they got. So, SOAR, application for family status, meet your counselor, connect with you, maybe discover. This might be helpful. Learn virtual events. That's what we're doing right now. Although, to be fair, they're probably much better at doing these things in comparison to what I am, but that's okay. Campus tours, Liberty, daily tours, mixed up to FAQ, university houses. Paste, learn to so dumb. Okay. Interesting. Dual enrollment stuff is happening there. Information for future students. That seems like a good place to start. Okay. What is a freshman? Wow. Okay. What kind of student are you? These. Y'all would be freshmen, but let's not look at that. Let's look at more information. Okay, so you can just request more information and they'll start sending you stuff. It's kind of cool. I remember like getting a bunch of stuff in the mail from a lot of universities that I had no intention of going to. And you know, it was nice. You know, it was cool to get mail. I never got mail before really. Okay, so admission criteria. Okay, we can already see right off the bat. 2.6 unweighted with no test scores, 2.5 to 2.59. These are the minimums with the 1030 SAT and a 20 plus ACT. So very much, you know, different in terms of how selective they are for sure. Let's see. And again, for at least the fall 2021, there are no admissions requirements from test scores. Let's see. So you do have to pay for an application fee, although to be fair, $30 is nothing in comparison to how much it can be. It can be very, very expensive, like $60 or more. Let's get off that one real quick. Let's close that one. So just general low criteria for GPA and SAT, ACT. Let's see what else. Yeah, I mean, average is like 23, 24 on the ACT. And then SAT average is probably, you know, maybe just a little bit higher than that, I would say. And they also super score, which I think all universities should do. So it takes all of your best scores. So say you take the SAT 4 times, and you get the highest on your math score the first time, and the highest on your reading score the last time. Well, they would take your best score from the first one or from across all of them for your math and your reading, and that's what they would use to make up your score. And I think that's super important when getting a more accurate idea of how competitive you can be. Because I mean, maybe you know you got a more difficult question set on one of them as opposed to the other, or maybe you're just having an off day, you know, or maybe you know you're just showing progress. I don't know. I think there are a host of reasons why I think that's good. But overall, I think that you know admissions is going to be much easier in comparison to other things. Let's see. Let's go tuition and fees. Let's see what we can find out here. Okay, so they haven't done anything for 2021 fall. So let's just do 2020 fall. That'll give us an idea. Okay, so let's see. Undergraduate students fee and her fee rates. This is kind of an interesting thing. Okay, wow, this is actually like much better. So to be considered a full-time student, you need to have, I think it's 9 hours. You have to have more than 9 hours or something like that. Anything more than 15 hours, and you're just like kind of crazy, if I'm being honest. 15 hours, even in and of itself, is like a lot. All right, cool. Nice to see you. We decided to go to Georgia Southern, Adrian. So if you look at this, per credit hour, let's just do some quick math here. At 15 hours, 27.32. Well, let's go with total 37.89 divided by 15. I mean, that's like $250 a credit hour. I mean, that's stupid cheap. That's so cheap. And that's assuming that you would apply or have Hope Scholarship, which is something, again, like not all universities have in those particular states. And I think that's one of the biggest draws for staying inside Georgia. I mean, 252 per credit hour. I mean, that's so cheap. That's so cheap in comparison to some of these other schools. Even if you add in all these like kind of ridiculous like fees, $100 tech fee, that'll pay for like your internet usage, health fee, so you can use like their health services, an activity fee, a recreational fee, an athletic fee, an athletic facility fee, transit fee for buses. I mean, these fees are just like, they kind of nickel and dime you, but I'll be honest, I mean, at UGA, the fees were, $1,000, $1,500 a year. I mean, it was kind of crazy. When looking at residence halls, so if you're living on campus, looks like anywhere, to, upwards of $3,000 or so, depending on where you're living at. So living expenses, so 3K to 5K uh, for living on campus, which again, I mean, it's reasonable, actually, like in my honest opinion, especially in comparison to what we looked at with like SCAD and stuff like that. Looks like they do have some dining plans as well, where it's upwards of like 1750. And I mean, and that's a term. I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know what a term is. I assume like a semester. I mean, that's really, I mean, $1,750. I mean, that's not outrageous. Dining plan. And it'll give you like an idea of what this is. Let's take a look at this. It'll bring us to the right space. Okay, so let's look at dining plans. Let's see what they got. Okay, so this is the only thing that I'm not like a huge fan of, but I mean, it is what it is. Where it's on like a 21 meals per week, so it's on a meals per week thing. 21 meals per week. So I mean, that's what basically, I mean, that's 7 days a week, 3 meals a day. Minimum for freshman students. So it does look like it has like budget bucks, $8.75 per entry. That's pretty. You'll never eat $8.75 per go. You'd have to stay there for quite a while. But I mean, that's pretty like, that's honestly like reasonable. 1,500 for 14 meals per week. I mean, for $250 more, you might as well go and be able to get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or something like that. So I mean, honestly, I mean it's pretty reasonable if I'm being absolutely honest. In-state estimated books, $600. So I mean, you're looking at $4,300. At the most if you're doing 15 credit hours plus your residence hall, um, activity fee, meals. So I mean, 10,000 a year or so in stuff. Well, maybe that's per term. But I mean, yeah, I mean that's pretty good, I think, if I'm being honest. Let's see what else we got here. Low criteria for GPA, SAT, they super score. Living expenses are pretty good. They do have Hope Scholarship, per credit hour. Somewhere around the 10K, 10K per semester range. And I would venture to say that this is without the Hope Scholarship. And the Hope Scholarship covers a significant portion of a lot of this information. So financial aid, obviously Hope, FAFSA is available, student loans, Parent Plus loans, etc. So there's a lot of ways that you can get it. Let's look at some of their academics. So programs and majors. Oof, error. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so wish it gave me like a total number. So let's just stick to Statesboro. Let's look to just bachelor's. Degree level undergraduate. So, I mean, construction, economics, electrical engineering, English, a decent amount of information, I would say, about, or a decent just list. I don't know how many this is, but I would say, it's a wide variety. Let's see if it'll show it in here. No, unfortunately. About, maybe let's go here. Because that's what we were just looking at. I mean, I would say probably like 75 plus total majors that are out there. Location, we're in Statesboro, Georgia. I have no idea if that's how you spell it or not. Statesboro? Statesboro. Okay. Statesboro. Kind of a weird way to spell that, if I'm being honest. Distance. Okay, so looking at about 4 hours or so, 200 miles away, or about a 4-hour drive. So, I mean, it's far enough where you could have your distance, but it's close enough to where you could come back home. Probably not every weekend, but certainly maybe like once a month or something like that if you're interested. Let's look at size. Let's see what they've got in terms of how big they are. Hey, 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 hey. What's he doing, Moosker? Hey, hey. It's a hey, 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 Moosker. Hey, what you looking at? You don't want to send you off too much. Send you naked, baby. You a naked baby. Yeah. Hey. You gonna get a nap? Or not a nap, a bath. So you want daddy's phone? Okay. Ouch. Alright, let's finish up some stuff here. Fact book. Let's see what we can get here. Hey Amina, how are you? Ah. Sorry, headphone users. She's probably gonna like just squeal, so just definitely let's like turn that down. She's so funny. Yeah, she's hilarious. Like slowly dying inside sometimes, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know how my wife keeps her for most of the day and actually does her job. I would not be able to do it. I could not teach y'all and take care of that child at the same time at all. Let's see what they've got here. Some fact books. Interesting. Oh man. Can I just do like a control F, like student ratio of student teacher? Okay. I don't care about your mission statement all that much. Academic excellence, sustainability. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Ratio of student faculty. So 21 to 1. I mean, not too bad. 21. Teacher student ratio. Not too bad. Let's see the total number. Why would you do credit hours? That's such a weird like statistic to have, if I'm being honest. Students in fall term. What? That is weird. That's a weird just like way to present this information. Don't need that. Don't need that. So applications for admission into the fall terms. So, wow, I mean, 52% acceptance rate. 52% acceptance rate. That seems kind of strange. I don't know. It's just like very questionable to me. I feel like anybody who's in the GISA program, would get in, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, there's that. Student affairs, not super concerned with that. Tension, not really interested in athletics or expenditures. They spend a lot of money, $500 million, I would assume. $500 million a year. That's a lot. Wow. So no like total student population. Accredited housing, ratio, fall terms, undergraduate in transfer. Yeah, we don't need that. Standards. Yeah, I think we're good on that one. Statesboro. Enrollment data. There we go. I think that's maybe what we're interested in to at least see how big they are. Okay, so total, about 26,000. Let's see, size, 26,000 total students. So I mean, I would say that this is a larger this is a larger university. I mean, there's a decent number of people who are enrolled here. And you can kind of see how it's broken down by the college. You can look at it by race. So if you're interested in going to a really diverse type of school, you can take a look and see that, for the most part, it is a heavily white school followed by Black or African American. However, if you're looking for kind of a more diversified school beyond that, there are not very many other diverse group populations, I guess you could say, if you're simply looking at race. Gender, it looks like, it breaks it down by gender as well. So this generally looks like much heavier in terms of female population as opposed to male population, by a wide range. And I would say that that's more than likely due to the fact that they have a pretty large education program, and typically, education has been a female-dominated career field, if you will. Enrollment by citizenship. Wow, there's like a lot of information here that you could peruse through. But that gets us our size, school or major rank. I mean, I don't know how much we're gonna find on this one. See if we can find anything in particular. Success Center, Course Search, Registrar. Let's see, Georgia Southern University National School Rank. Let's say we got here U.S. News. This one seems to just be like a pretty standard one across the board. So, 298 out of 389. So I mean, it's by no means an elite college for sure. I don't know how many universities there are in total. Step ahead. Yeah, obviously Princeton, we get it. Harvard, Columbia, MIT, Yale, Stanford, Chicago, Pennsylvania, Caltech, Johns Hopkins, So I wonder if it does it from low, because this is high to low. Let's go low. Oh wait, no, not enrollment. Man, it doesn't want to make anybody feel bad on that one. That's okay. It's probably a good thing, but I mean, I'd say that there's probably 388 schools. I feel like that's not accurate at all in terms of the total number of national schools. I would not put it as the worst national school or anything like that. And public schools, showing 209. Yeah, so it's just a very broad range here, nothing super specific. And I would say that, it'd be very difficult, or it might not be very easy to find information about, what their particular program of study may be ranked. But this U.S. News does a decent job at kind of showing information, but I mean, a lot of this is kind of locked behind, I wouldn't say necessarily paywalls, but you do have to register and stuff like that. But this at least gives you an idea of what they're like. Let's see what they have for academics. Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot in terms of useful information, I would say. Because again, a lot of it is locked, unfortunately. But I mean, that gives us a pretty good idea about Georgia Southern. I mean, it shows 52% acceptance rate, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like for the type of students that are probably watching something like this, the chances of you getting into a college like Georgia Southern, it's pretty high. There's a decent total of majors. I would say this emphasizes education majors. In particular, they have quite a large education program. You have access to Hope and FAFSA, student loans, Parent Plus loans, etc. Their living expenses, I mean, they seem to be fairly reasonable. I mean, $3,000 to $5,000 for living on campus is not outrageous. $1,700 for a meal plan. I mean, you'll spend well over $1,700 in a semester if you go to even like fast food places, 3 times a day or something like that. So you'll that's reasonable in my opinion. Location, about 200 miles away. It is in the middle of nowhere. I will say that, having driven to Savannah. Um, it is there's just nothing else there. And of course, like I never lived there or anything like that, so that may be completely wrong, but you know, keep that in mind. There is, at least not from what I've seen, being a whole lot there. Size, I mean, it's a larger university, but I mean, pretty decent like student teacher ratio. You're gonna have your larger classes and your undergraduate ones, and like your big like required classes. But if you get into your major, that will get smaller. Tuition about 252 per credit hour, which is pretty standard, I think, and it could range up to $10,000 per semester. I think that's again without the Hope Scholarship. With the Hope Scholarship, I would think would be more reasonable than that. And this is assuming like that you're taking 15 credit hours. Most people try and stick to like 12, 13 maybe. But that gives you an idea of Georgia Southern. So that's that. We've gone through now 4 universities. We've gone through Piedmont, we've gone through SCAD, Penn State, and now Georgia Southern. So that's four colleges that we're at right now. Um, so yeah, so in total, these are the ones that are on the list right here. We got through Piedmont. We still got Clemson that's on the list, Georgia Tech, UGA, of course. Emory, we did Penn State. We can do Wisconsin. Did Georgia Southern. We'll do MIT, Duke. I want to add Georgia State on here as well. I feel like that will be a good one to do too. But that's what we'll do in the next couple of weeks. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I appreciate all y'all coming and hanging out. If y'all haven't subscribed, or if you're interested in getting other people to subscribe to help grow the channel, obviously I would be super appreciative of that. As you can see, we're at 79% of the sub goal. The sub goal is I'll dress up as Martin Luther for the day. I'll go to school dressed as Martin Luther with like a staff and all. Um, I'll talk about the sale of indulgences and how terrible the church was at the time. So yeah, if y'all want to see that happen, we're not too far away from it. What, like 42 away or something?